welcome to Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. Hope you had a good couple of days in the market. We did have a green day today. Yesterday was down a little bit, but I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things tonight. One of them being NVAX, even though we're not holding that one anymore. Some of you may be. So I wanted to talk about something that went on with it last couple of days. Also want to talk to you about the portfolio, what we've added, what we've taken away. But I want to start out talking about NVAX and what's going on with that. So let me go ahead and cut over to a chart there and let's see what happened with that one the past couple of days. All right, so here's the chart. As you can see here, we had quite the spike day before yesterday, and on pretty heavy volume, as you can see. What happened was there was some news that came out pre-market about some funding that they received, $1.6 billion. That's with a B. Okay, so $1.6 billion funding for their phase 3 testing and their production of the drug itself. So that's a vote of confidence from the U.S. government. That's awesome. So it did take off, as you can see. Went from about a $70 range, $75, $80 range, all the way up to, I think it high around 117. Today we had some profit takers, as you can see from the chart, and it did fall pretty much most of the day, and then it's kind of leveled out here in the post market, but closed out at 98.30 today, so all the way from 117 down to 98.30. That's just people taking profits. What I want to talk about is what's next. What is next for NVAX? So let's talk about that. So NVAX, it got the funding. So that funding is for phase 3 and the production of the drug. So right now they're in a phase 2 testing. So this phase 2 testing that's going on, the results of that will come out somewhere near the end of this month, according to what the CEO said. So this thing may pull back a little bit more. Of course, it did pull back a little bit today, but it may pull back even more so in the next couple of weeks. But don't forget that news is coming out. I believe that news is going to be good just based off of this funding they just received. So I believe that if the news is good, you will see this thing pop again on that news. So that's one thing. Don't forget also that out there right now we've got the nano flu approval for FDA approval. So that could come out sometime, and that's going to make a pop in the stock too, as long as it's approved. Okay. Now, if either one of those goes bad, of course the inverse is true. It's going to be a bad day for whoever's holding the stocks. And believe me, when these things fall, they can fall a lot faster than they go up. But again, I think the news is going to be good. I think the news is going to be good on both of those accounts. So I wouldn't be afraid to hold some here. But don't forget, you don't make any money till you sell. So profit taking is nothing wrong with that. You got a bunch of them that did it today. They may be like me now. I did sell last ones I sold is at 60, but I'm retired, and there's probably some other folks that's retired that took their money. I know some folks that have been waiting for that $100 stock price, and I know they're really happy with that. So, but now that 100 stock price is no longer okay. It's 98.30. So that's the thing. You don't make a dime till you sell something. That's part of my strategy. So we like to pocket the money every once in a while. So, and it may keep you from getting in it again, but if this thing settles down around 85 or something like that again, I think that might be a good entry point. I think the 40s and the 50 range is gone for a while, unless there's some bad news, and at that point you probably don't want to get in it anyway, if there's bad news. But I think this thing's promising for the future as well. But I've got to start nibbling. If I get back in, it's going to be a nibble. But we're not going to put a whole lot of money in it, or big funds while all this virus stuff's going on, because that's just too risky for me. Okay, maybe not for you, but for me it is. So, all right. So I wanted to talk about that, but let's go ahead and take a look at our portfolio. Let's see what's going on with that. Okay, so for our portfolio for today, as you can see here, we've got some of our regulars on here that were on here the other day. MPC, we added MPC, got back in that one yesterday at 34.79, and also added to it again today. I'm just real confident in that one. I added back into it a little bit more today at 33.73. So back into MPC, that's one of my favorites. So comfortable with that and got a pretty good size position in that one. VLO, that's another refinery, oil company. Added to it yesterday. That's a new one for us at 53.91, I think it was yesterday that I added. So we're down a little bit on that, but that's okay. That's another refinery. It's probably going to follow MPC. Whatever MPC does, it's probably going to do the same. That reason I bought that one is because MPC wasn't in the range I wanted to buy. So I bought this one, this VLO, and then MPC fell enough for me to get into it the same day. So DAL, Delta Airlines, we also added to that a little bit yesterday. I added at 27.45. I like it's kind of holding up well, so I wanted to go ahead and put a little bit more money into that one. SO, I haven't touched that one, but it's probably the only green one I've got right now. But we got about 5 or 6 that's within a day's range of trading. But SO is, it's one of those that's got a good dividend. It's pretty solid stock. It's probably going to hang into this range a little bit. Nothing that's going to take a dramatic drop, I wouldn't think, unless some kind of bad news came out. But that's a pretty safe stock. We've got a small position in it, not huge. We've bought 2 lots on it. Cliff, we added to that one yesterday as well. We added at 5.44, so it dropped again today, another 3%. Tempted to get some more, but I've got a whole lot of steel, so I think we're going to kind of lay off the steel for a while. We got Cliff and we got X, so we got plenty of both of those. So I'm going to kind of lay off the steel from now on. Wynn and MGM are casinos. A couple that are green today, so they had a little bit of green on them today. That's good for them. Not adding to those. Not comfortable with those enough to cost average them a whole lot. Maybe a little bit later if we get rid of some of these other ones, we might. GBTC, we have been cost averaging that one. Haven't bought anything lately, but it did have a little good pop today. Was good, glad to see that. XOM, that's Exxon Mobil, and it's it's not been one doing very well. It's probably one down 10% or so. Have not added to it lately, so probably not going to at this time. X is again one of the steals. It was down a little bit, not quite as bad as Cliff today, but it's back under that $7 range. It was not too long ago that thing was up to $10 and something. So we've got to get that thing turned around and get it moving in the right direction. We need some infrastructure talk. That's usually what makes that happen. And ACB is one of our regular stocks that did a reverse split, so we're not really following that a whole lot right now because it's going to be a while for that one gets into the green. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the market tonight. Looks like our futures are green across the board. It's a little early, so this probably doesn't mean a whole lot, but it is green, so we'll take that. That's probably going to change a few times before the night's over with. Asia, none of that's even open yet. Like I said, it is a little bit early. Let's take a look. This is what happened today in the market. Dow Jones up 177 points. S&P ended up 24 points up, and the NASDAQ ended up 148 points. That's a new record for the NASDAQ, so that's awesome. NASDAQ's really outperformed these other S&P and the Dow. Something awful. So good for you if you got a bunch of NASDAQ stocks. So probably doing okay. Of course, there's some big ones in there that have done a lot of the gains. So you can't always go by the whole index because a lot of these big companies drive those indexes. Oil up a little bit today, a little in the green. It says improving U.S. gasoline demand, so that's good. As this economy opens, that oil demand will go up, so that's pretty good. My hope is that the production is behind the turn up as far as the demand goes, and which would drive that price right back up, and that's going to help things like Exxon Mobil and MPC. So, but we may be out of MPC the way that thing's going up and down. We may be out of it again by then. So, because we're going to take 6% if we can get it on that one. So, all right. So that's kind of what we're looking like tonight in the market. So let's talk about tomorrow. All right. So tomorrow's Thursday. So got a couple more days left in the week. We've bought a good bit of stocks this week and newly into some of them. So hopefully we can turn around pretty quick. We can get a good pop in a day. That'd be great. Like to sell something before the week's over with. We put a lot of cash out there. Feel comfortable with what I put the cash in, so not really worried about that. Still got plenty of cash on the side. Not exactly where I want to be, but I just think this some of these stocks, when they drop like they do, I've got to go in them because they're going to come back up as soon as any kind of good news comes out. So we're gonna be watching some of those, try to get rid of them as quick as we bought them, and other than that, we'll probably won't be buying a whole lot the rest of the week because of the amount of cash that we do have on the sideline now. So we'll probably just be trying to get rid of some things. So other than that, unless there's some great bargains, I've been keeping my eye on EXAS. It had a good pop today when I was looking at it, so it's not in the buying range, but that thing changes from day to day. So that's the one I'd like to get play again, but that's going to be around that 85, 82 range, somewhere in there. Okay. All right. Well, you have a great day in the market tomorrow, and we'll try to get back on here maybe tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, it will be sometime Sunday. Okay. All right. Thanks. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking this button right here. Thanks. Bye.